There's something in my basement. I live alone with my cat, and my basement has always creeped me out. It's completely empty, no windows, just concrete walls, and there's nothing down there. But at night, I swear I hear noises coming from it. Sometimes it's faint shuffling, other times it's like a crackling fire. My cat won't even go near the basement door. She'll hiss if I try to bring her close, and she always stays on the other side of the house at night. I got so freaked out I put a heavy lock on the door. But even now, I'll wake up in the middle of the night to the sound of faint popping, like something burning. I've checked it so many times, and there's nothing down there. I don't know what's worse, the noises or the fact that my cat knows something's wrong too. I will never get over this. It was summertime and I was 14, spending the night at my bestie's house. We were up late and her dog wanted to go outside, so we brought her out the back door to let her roam around the backyard. Within 2 minutes we see her, obviously alarmed and standing with her ears completely erect. Almost like she frozen mid-run around the yard. That is what got our attention. At that point my friend and I stopped dead in our tracks because Missy, being nervous, scared the shit out of us. As we are listening I hear what sounds like 15 dogs barking, but they don't sound close. They sound like they are coming from miles away. The terrifying part? A soft, high-pitched singing. I don't know what the fudge this was, or where it was coming from. We were the only souls outside as it was probably 3 a.m. But this singing did not sound human. It sounded haunted, and I have never been so afraid in my life. I will never know what it was, but I am fully convinced it was ghosts and we witnessed a supernatural event. Something just opened my house door. What could it be? So I just moved into my boyfriend's house around 5 months ago and I've been experiencing paranormal behavior, I think. Whenever he goes to drill for the weekend and isn't home, I experience hearing his voice when no one is home. Hearing walking in my house. My pots and pans will fall off the stove. I keep my wok and tea kettle there. I hear 3 knocks on my door at night, usually around 2 to 4 a.m. My friends have also noticed odd knocking, almost like someone is trying to break down our door. The activity even got worse after my surgery, but today was the final straw that led me here. Recently we've been seeing a figure walking outside our kitchen window, and when we walk outside it disappears. Today we saw a cat outside that looked identical to our new cat. So of course we run out of the back door, very important, and come to find out both of our cats are inside and safe. We came back and were sitting down, both doors are shut, our front door was locked. We walk to our bedroom, we hear 3 knocks at our window, then we suddenly walk out to find that the door is cracked open. We sage our house, but the kept burning out, getting weaker, and now it just burns down. Maybe this is because of the construction going on. My boyfriend and his mom would hear and see eyes in the woods. Now that they are being cut down, maybe something is angry? I was sleeping and I woke up to 2 to 3 taps on the shoulder. I was home alone, there was nobody around. I was immediately freaked out, so I said out loud, "If you are a spirit, make the time be 10 p.m. exactly." Checked my phone, that was the time. Was this a spirit or just a coincidence? I came to this sub almost exactly 4 years ago with high hopes. I am a lifelong UFO believer. I have been there when Bob Lazar spilled the beans. I know all the abduction stories, I know all the sightings, I kinda understand quantum physics. I however know one can never understand quantum physics, lol. I know about remote viewing, but I think it's utter bullshit. I know all the names in the field, all the whistleblowers, I know the tic-tac, the fast mover, the gimbal, seen all the past and very recent documentaries. I have been there in 2017 when the New York Times blew up the lid of AARO, EOTIP, etc, etc, etc. I'm not a noob, I know it all. I thought Reddit is the place to be. I thought I'm gonna learn so many new things by the community with interests alike mine. And I did. I learned stuff. But not exactly what I hoped for. I learned that we, the people, are just dumb. I learned that we cannot distinguish an airplane from a drone. I learned that the cameras on our smartphones are completely useless unless you want to take a selfie. I learned that 2 more weeks means never. I learned that all those people seemingly fighting for disclosure don't really want disclosure because after disclosure there's no more business for them. I learned that disclosure will not come from Reddit because Reddit is heavily censored. Just like YouTube. Disclosure will not come from social media at large, because it would have already happened if it did. This thing seemed like a wild river first, but soon became rather like a lake that is not moving, not going anywhere. Occasional waves happen, but it's still just a lake, and the waves will go smooth out again, not going anywhere. Always. Every time. Why? Because we are kept in the dark, and we don't know anything. And we will never know. We are all just regular workers in the hive, basically dumb. I know that the truth is out there, but as long as all Reddit UFO UAP alien subs are heavily censored by the mods feds whoever, and heavily toxic by the users themselves, it's totally useless. I'm leaving this place behind for good. I had this in plans for a couple of weeks now. The decision is made. It's bittersweet though. More bitter than sweet to be honest. I was so pumped and hyped, but in time the fog cleared and I see that Reddit is just another business. We are going in circles, going nowhere. Just 2 more weeks, and it's never there. I know that the regular smartass and the low educated here will say why are you whining, and good luck quitting and all the regular, boring, arrogant crap like these. I'm saying all this out loud because I know people out there who feel the same, and I want to encourage everyone who feels alike to just bravely leave this toxic environment behind because it's not fun anymore. Censorship and bad will is killing the whole movement. Disclosure will not come from social media. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but the truth is that we, the people, are the cause of this lake that is going nowhere. Non-human intelligence is real, but Reddit is just wrong. It's not the tool. Never was, never will be. 2 more weeks. Not for me. This story happened to me when I was a school student. I was 9 or 10 years old back then. I was in my way from the school to home. There is no school buses in my country, so children go to and from the school accompanied by their parents or just by themselves. I was alone that day. When I was about to cross a road and was waiting for the traffic lights turning green, the strange woman approached from behind. She was young, with pale skin and brown hair of neck length. She was wearing a long, ground-length, dark brown cloak with hood. It was strange for me because it was the first, and the last, time I've seen someone wearing such clothes. People around didn't pay attention at her at all, as if they didn't notice her. Once she approached, she immediately started to stare at me. I looked at her too. She had green-brown eyes, but her gaze gave me very unsettling feeling. It felt like I look into abyss. Kinda cold, heavy, and deep gaze. There was something ancient in her gaze. She smiled a bit, but her gaze didn't change. I averted my eyes and turned away. At this moment I heard her voice. The strangest thing about it was that it sounded in my head. Her voice was surprisingly very beautiful and light, like the whisper of the wind. It's hard to describe this voice. The most suitable word is rustling. She asked, "Who are your parents?" I answered nothing. My head was empty at that moment. I turned to her. She was still staring at me with smile. Finally the traffic lights turned green, and I started to walk. She was walking next to me. I never heard the sound of steps. Her pace was slow and deliberate, the contrast with hurrying people around. This encounter lasted for a few minutes, but it felt like eternity. Once we crossed the road, she turned to right direction while I was walking ahead. I stopped for a few minutes to look after her. I don't know why, but I felt a strange wish to go after her and ask her questions about who is she and what does she wanted from me, but I didn't do it. Some of people who I told this story later assumed it could be the Grim Reaper or Angel of Death. After this encounter I started to feel a strange longing. It wasn't a constant feeling. I feel it when I'm depressed or get through crisis. For some unknown reason, I feel the strange connection with her and wish to see her again and talk to her. This memory doesn't feel scary, but warm. I don't know what to think about it. Who is she? What did she want? Why I feel this way toward her? When will we ascend? I can't take much more. I've done so much energy work over 4 years. I get spiritual chills often, from head to toe, with hairs standing on end. No goosebumps. Full on movement of energy. I don't know what to do with that energy when it comes. I just notice it. Life has been so difficult and honestly I'm ready for things to change. I've read so much about ascension, star seeds, waking up, etc. I am growing weary. Financially can't hardly exist anymore. Physically I'm deteriorating since I can only afford 1 meal per day. I don't know y'all. I'm ready for change. When will we be on the other side of all this? Or has the 4-dimensional talk just been nonsense? I need help. So I need help as in the title. I don't know whether I'm facing a mimic, a doppelganger or a skinwalker. My partner, 22 male, grandmother, 74 female, and I, 21 female, live in this little house in Australia. We are right behind a railway line which used to be a river, and there has been multiple paranormal encounters we have had. Such as footsteps and voices in the backyard, visual sightings of my dead grandfather, a young girl in a long white dress and a shadow man that is under the house which stays under my grandmother's room. My partner has seen shadow figures in our backyard and they would disappear in front of him. It constantly sets off our dog. Recently in the past 2 to 4 months my partner and I have been seeing and dealing with this one entity which copies mine and his voice. He has answered it a few times by accident, but it will mostly copy my voice and call him when nobody else is home and I'm at work. I've seen giant claws coming across the fridge in the kitchen and been getting scratches and cuts randomly on my body. I have seen it but haven't really heard it. A few weeks ago I saw this entity looking like my partner come up the hallway into the bathroom and back to the kitchen. Then my actual partner started talking to me from the window while I'm looking at him in the kitchen. And just tonight the same entity came into my room, stood at the side of my bed looking at me then walked out. Usually when my partner comes in the room he'll say something like "Hey my honey" or "Hey my baby," but this was just unsettling because he didn't say anything. Then the figure just walked out. About 30 seconds later my partner came out of the bathroom and into the bedroom. If anybody knows what we are dealing with, please let me know as we are getting really uneasy with it. We think the shadow man is connected to a piece of the old Sydney prison that my grandmother has. It was dark cold night in 1998 small village in the county Suffolk in Anglia England. It was 2 a.m. in the morning. I had a strange knock at the door while playing the Xbox. I paused the game, went to the door. At that point I saw a young kids, a 7-year-old and a young boy, must have been 8 or 9. They proceeded to ask if they could come in. My reaction was like, why am I gonna let you in? We're your parents. They were making up these things, can't remember exactly, but what was said. I started talking about God and they got quite angry. I then refused entry. That point they said, "Are you scared?" and I realized that eyes are black, completely black, like you would see a little gray alien black. I was concerned. I wasn't scared. I looked back over my shoulder into my hallway because how much to see if my game is still paused. I looked back and they were gone. Now I have little stairs coming up to the flat and you could hear everything coming up those stairs and everything going down. I looked over the banister and nothing was there. It was like they disappeared into thin air. Going back to the old flat that I lived, so you can see the metal stairs, and how weird that would it be? They have to be no way that they could have got down those stairs in time and disappeared. They vanished into thin air. I recently realized this after seeing something or hearing something about children with black eyes, and it came back like a massive flood. It freaked me out, and now my dog keeps looking over my shoulder like there's something there, but there's not.
Are you a targeted individual? Have you had a paranormal encounter, or are the victim of an unregulated government experiment and would like to share your story with us? Would you like to send us some fan mail or a hate-filled rant? Do you have an idea for a future episode or wish to send a complaint to HR? Email us at atomicshamanSweatlodge@protonmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, and be sure to check the notification bell. Follow the Atomic Shaman on Twitter at Motel and RV Park. Listen to Paranormal Green Text Stories on Atomic Shaman TTS on YouTube. Catch the live streams of Atomic Shaman Sweat Lodge only on Rumble.